Hey everybody, and welcome to Wine Time. I'm Chris Lazarus, broker of Sellect Realty, and I'm here with one of my agents, LeShaunda Triplett Ard. LeShaunda, what makes you uniquely qualified to talk about wine?
Well, in 2010, I took it a step further and became a certified specialist of wine. And I've had a love for wine ever since communion.
So you started young, but okay. So we're here today. We're approaching the holidays.
Yes.
We've got 3 wines in front of us that you told me before this are things that are not very expensive. They're not going to break the bank.
No. And
they're great wines that can impress people if you've got them coming over for the holidays.
Absolutely. So you've got quality and value in front of you. So these are your essentials. So not just for the holidays, but just in general.
Okay.
The essentials. So. And let me just talk about this for just a second. So sparkling wine is so misunderstood in our culture. Mm-hmm. Everybody reserves it to that one time a year, and you know what time that is, which is New Year's Eve. This is such a versatile bottle or style. This is such a versatile style of wine.
Okay.
From cocktails to pairing it with dinner to aperitif, it's just so versatile. Okay, and then because domestic wine drinkers, more specifically Americans, love their Chardonnay. Love their Chardonnay, and more specifically California Chardonnay. So inexpensive Chardonnay, great to have. The ladies, usually girls' night out, girls' night in, girls all around. Everybody loves a Chardonnay, and even guys are actually starting to become a bit more courageous, if you will, and order Chardonnay out. You know, and it can be a great pairing for hearty meats as well. Like if you're something on the grill. Grilled chicken, fried turkey, something like that. You could still pair it with
very nice.
A Chardonnay.
And what's our third?
Last but not least, Malbec, or more specifically, Argentinian Malbec, because most people don't realize that Malbec is actually still being produced in France.
You're talking my language with the Malbec.
Okay.
So I'm excited to learn a little bit about these wines because I am not a wine connoisseur. I'm not an expert. I know about as close to nothing about wine as you possibly can. So when it comes to what I'm going to buy for guests, like what am I looking for?
You are looking for something that is versatile.
Okay.
Something that's going to speak to so many different palates. Okay. So what I tried to tell when I was in the business, and then even now, because I find myself doing wine consulting in the grocery store or in wine shops, but you want something, you really want to go regions and not necessarily producers. Okay. So if you, especially with your own personal palate, if you know what you prefer, then start doing a little research on your wine. It doesn't take much. Now with Google, it does not take much. So you want to do something where it is, and it's a term that I kind of use the word out of context, but I call it a coiffer. Okay. So a coiffer is something that you can have as a cocktail.
Okay.
As far as wine is concerned. So you can use it as a cocktail or you can pair it with dinner. Okay. So your coiffer can actually, and this one in particular, and all these wines have actually been rated with the retail entity that they belong to. They've all been rated and they all are in the 90s.
Okay. So we want to look for something in the 90s.
Well, if you're into ratings, if you need your wine to have those accolades, then yes, you're pretty safe. Even because actually I misspoke. This one actually I think is at 89.
Okay.
But anywhere in those high 80s up to the 90s is always a good place to start. If, like I said, if you're into the accolades, but your palate is a true test anyway.
Yeah, always. So speaking of palate, let's try them.
Okay, so because the reason we read left to right, and you want to generally have your wine situated left to right based on the style. So generally speaking, unless it's something really heavy from the Champagne region of France, Blanc de Blanc, which means it's 100% Chardonnay, it's going to be something that's a little lighter. Okay. And sparkling wine is produced all over the world.
So we're actually backwards for our audience.
Okay. So I do apologize. So we're going to do this.
Hey ho! There we go. All right.
Okay. So, like I said, sparkling wine so misunderstood, and when you're entertaining, greet your guest as soon as you open the door. Greet your guests with a glass of sparkling wine. You don't necessarily have to do it in a flute. It's fun to experience the expression kind of jumping out. It wakes up the palate, actually. So And yes, this is not just a pretentious activity.
Yeah. So I did learn this in college at an etiquette class, and it's supposed to, aerate.
Right.
And
it unlocks the
aroma.
characteristics because your wine has been stuffed in these bottles. And let me just say for this one, so notice this is not a cork that came on the burl wood. This is actually plastic, and then
Screw top.
Yeah, basically. But it does have that little suction piece in there. And if you need to store it, then you would use a sparkling wine closure.
Oh, very cool.
And it's going to preserve that effervescence in the bottle.
Nice.
Okay, so a Voce Sante.
A Voce Sante.
So this is in the extra dry style.
Okay. Yeah.
And when these wines were classified, it's kind of a misnomer. So you think because wines were really, really sweet when they were. So this one's not as sweet as a demi-sec. We'll just say that just for the sake of time.
Okay. So it's not
this
is a little less sweet.
It's a little less sweet, but
it's not overpowering.
It is still some residual sugar or sugar left over. Okay, so this would be great for spicy foods as a coiffer, and then of course it's going to marry well with your juices, so you can have a full mimosa bar.
Yeah, there you go.
And it'll be fun, right?
Hey, well, sometimes you need some mimosas to get started.
Yes,
in the morning,
absolutely,
right?
absolutely. Right. And we only have, so I guess we gotta.
There we go.
See how those bubbles just.
That is.
It wakes up the palate, you know.
It does. All right, so what are we on to next?
The next one is a Chardonnay, and basic Chardonnay, California designation, and without getting into too much information, it can be sourced from many different growing areas in California. They kind of bring it all together and put it in a very, how do I say, and I've actually kind of used the terminology already, but it's going to be approachable for wherever the level of your palate is.
Okay, so this is broad spectrum, like whatever you like.
So again, another
it's not
coiffer.
Offensive. It's
and that's what I tried to do with these three bottles is bring coiffers. So if you're somebody who's tracking your first growth Bordeaux, all the way down to somebody who knows almost next to nothing about wine, if you appreciate the characteristics in wine and you're in a certain situation like a cocktail party or dropping by somebody's house, these will suffice for the situation.
Fantastic.
So, the next one up, and typically when you're moving from different styles, you would want to give the glass a rinse with what you're continuing with. Okay, so that it kind of knocks out what was in previously. And I was telling him, again, parenthetically, and that's one of my favorite words. Anyway, you do not want to rinse with water. Water actually will affect the experience in the wine. Okay,
so not rinsing with water.
And I won't pour so much this next time. So there we go for the Chard. Okay, and again, like Chris is starting to do, go ahead and just give it, because if it's an oaky, an oaky influence, it's going to kind of open it up. If it's been affected by malolactic fermentation, it's going to soften it up just a little. And then you always want to experience the nose.
Always.
Always want to experience the nose. It's so important because the characteristics in a nose can often, well, I won't say often, but they can sometimes be a little different from the characteristics on the actual palate. Okay, so you may pick up tree fruits that you won't taste in this particular wine. I'm getting ahead of myself. Again, another activity or exercise that is not pretentious. Pulling on the wine is going to isolate the characteristics. Now this one is going to be better suited for food. Now you feel how the tannins on the finish, on the side of your
just on the side of the tongue. Yep.
That's your tannins in your oak.
And you don't get that in the sparkling wine.
No, you don't. It's on top. It sits on top. You get that sugar at the tip, and it's much more refreshing.
I'm learning a lot today.
I'm so glad we did this.
Yeah.
And as you can tell, well, just in general,
this might become a reoccurring series. Gives me an excuse to have some wine at the office.
Right. At what time is it?
Oh, we're not going to say.
Okay. So yeah. So this is something that you would definitely want to, if you were doing appetizers. So you want to push this more towards food.
Yeah. Yes. This would go great with chicken or fish or.
It just depends on how the fish is being prepared.
Well, yeah.
But yes, and the style of fish. But absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'll give you one other thing.
Okay.
For those, I'm also a stick enthusiast. I smoke cigars. So because you've got that oak in there, so you want to marry characteristics.
Yeah.
So you've got that oaky, and sometimes some people it comes across as smoky. So pair it with, I would say, not anything too robust. So maybe like something in a Connecticut wrapper, going maybe sun grown. So mild to medium with this Chardonnay. It would be a great pairing.
And I'm a big bourbon and whiskey fan, so that's where most of my time is spent. And that's a lot of that is oak. So this would be a great way to start off the evening and transition straight into the bourbon barrels.
Absolutely. And then for the cognac drinkers out there, because people don't realize that cognac is actually distilled and then aged grapes.
Yeah. Oh,
that's what cognac is from the cognac region of France. But again, I'm getting ahead of myself. But yeah,
awesome.
So, alrighty. So
again, this is not offensive. This is
easy.
Very easy to drink.
I'll just wait until the end and I reveal the price point on all of them.
All right. So let's move on to the last one.
Okay, so we're moving on to, and
this is a Malbec, right?
Malbec is so popular.
I'm a Malbec
right now.
fan. I enjoy Malbec. And I have for years.
Well, I am still a huge fan of French Malbec. Actually, it was a part of the Bordeaux 6, but again, I won't give too much information to go over anybody's head. But produced mainly in Argentina in several different styles. You cannot get hung up on the grape, and that's for the, we'll speak more specifically for the Chardonnay and the Malbec, because you can get many different expressions from the different varietals.
Yeah.
So you can drink a robust Malbec that's going to go with your hearty beef, grilled and all that, and then you can get one like this that, again, coiffer, go with chicken, go with fish. I mean, it's just really versatile. And this is actually a staple in my house. This is our house wine.
Okay.
Or one of them. So a little earthy.
Yeah.
Herbs on the finish, but you get fruit in the middle.
Definitely. And you can, again, with the tannins, more towards the back of the tongue.
Absolutely. And
this is way more on the back top of the tongue than the Chardonnay
Now,
was.
this is more of what I was speaking of. You get maybe truffles, mushrooms on the nose. You smell that really earthy on the nose.
Yeah, it's definitely earthy.
But you don't get it necessarily on the palate.
No,
it's like,
not at all.
Right. And the more you pulling, and this one's 13.7. So pulling will also pull that alcohol out too.
Okay.
Yeah,
very nice. This could
definitely,
this is definitely versatile. This could go with, tons of different meals.
Tons of different meals, and then again, it can also be that coiffer.
Yeah, just
like I said, when you
having a glass
or a couple, especially once I tell you the price.
So let's get into that. What? Let's go from left to right. Let's talk about what they are, and
let me just say this. Price is not indicative of quality or how you will enjoy the wine. Let me say that again. Price is not indicative. Okay, yes, if you spend $50, $60 for a bottle of wine, there are some expectations in that bottle.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But you do not necessarily have to spend that amount of money in order to get a good bottle of wine, because good is first and foremost subjective.
It depends. Everybody's palate's different.
Everybody's palate is different. So you have to find the style of wine that your palate appreciates. And then once you do that, and as a wine enthusiast turned wine professional, I personally don't spend on an everyday average. I do not spend over $10 for a bottle of wine. $4.99 for the Burrowwood Sparkling Extra Dry, and they do actually have a Brut. They had to come up with the Brut after they did this. This is the award winner, but I do the drier style, and the Brut style or Brut style is some people are known for it saying here, but I do the one that's a little drier because I actually drink it as wine. Most people use this one for mimosas.
So go a little bit sweeter with mimosa, a little bit drier if you're drinking it straight.
And then let me just give you a tip. If you get a bottle of wine, a bottle of sparkling wine during the holiday season that you don't particularly like, if a style that you don't, always throw some juice in it. And you can also make a cocktail.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So you can throw some cognac in this
with
a little juice. And you've got I had a whole season of that. Anyway, but that's a whole nother story.
That might be
or
another
like I
show.
say, another talk show. Anyway.
Right. What do you do with the gift wine that you don't like?
Absolutely. I love that.
We'll be back after the holidays for that one.
So these two, to expedite time, these two are actually $4.49.
$4.49. So $4.99 and $4.49.
$4.49.
These are under $5.
Under $5. So
that's incredible.
Buy a case and you will be set for the season.
So I remember when Trader Joe's started doing their $1.99 bottles back in the day. They don't do that anymore. But that was a huge hit. These are way more complex.
Yes. And people are suspicious of wines that are in a lower price point, but you got to move around. Yes, there are some bottles that you will not appreciate as much as others, but if you spent $5, who's upset?
Yeah.
Who's upset if you spent $5?
Yeah.
It's not a big deal.
Nobody.
No. So
you need to bring a gift to a party.
There you go. And unless they are a avid shopper at that particular store, and then when alcohol is concerned, nobody really cares anymore.
So we've got Burlwood,
and then the Avanta.
Okay.
Yes. And this is actually from Mendoza, and the place where I got these from, they are very serious about their wine program.
Okay.
Again, quality and value, and that's what you want to look for, quality and value. So do a little research. Don't necessarily get caught up on producers and labels, and that can be another show too, is learning how to read the labels, especially when we get outside of new world wine production.
Awesome.
Okay.
LeShaunda, thank you so much.
No,
this
thank
has been
you
spectacular.
for the opportunity.
I have learned a lot coming into the holidays. And, after sharing with LeShaunda what I was planning to get for our holiday party, she's now in charge of the wines. So I'm very excited. Thank you so much. And price is not indicative of wine. It's also not indicative of real estate. We are with Sellect Realty, so if you need any help getting your house holiday ready, getting ready to sell in the spring, please don't hesitate. Reach out to us. Drop a comment in the link. Share the video with other people that are getting ready for holiday parties so they can find these $5 bottles of wine that are going to be huge hits.
Can I put my real estate hat on for a second?
Please do.
LTA and ATL opening doors allow me to assist you, and it's been nice to be able to put my other hat back on because I am so passionate about wine. Wine is an experience. It's just not a beverage, it's an experience. Remember that.
I love it. Well, happy holidays from everybody here at Sellect Realty. And tune in because I'm sure we're going to be back with more on this.
Absolutely.
Have a great day, everyone.
Yay.